All right, another edition of Lesson Notes, and today we're talking about another member of the TCU golf team, someone who played a lot in his freshman year, so he's obviously a very good player. This is Charlie Wylie from the Houston area, and I started seeing Charlie sometime this summer where he was going through a little bit of a rough patch, and that really was coming from a nagging miss to the left. And so he was coming to see me because the things that he was working on were not really correlating or solving that miss. So, one takeaway right off the bat is that when you are told to do something, you should see that problem go away and go away very quickly. Now, that doesn't mean that, necessarily that you're never going to see that shot again, but you would know that every time I do this solution, it seems to solve it. So this video on the left is before I ever saw him. This was like a pre-meeting swing he sent me. And then this one on the right is the one from a couple days ago at our session. And we're just going to talk about, what is causing the left. You can obviously see the TrackMan data there where the path is to the right and the face is pretty closed. And so, thinking through that, that's going to be a pull draw. So let's just go through what am I looking at when I'm trying to solve this. And, right off the bat, what we're going to notice is, the face is a little strong and it's a little inside, nothing crazy, but it is a little strong. It's definitely not open. And by the way, I forgot to say, he's trying to hit a fade. He's trying to hit a ball that starts left and curves right. So anytime that I'm looking through the lens of someone wants to hit a fade, which I don't normally recommend people hit a fade, but if someone wants to hit a fade, that's fine. I'd be looking for these things. So, first parallel right there, it's a little bit shut. And as we continue this swing, I think the thing that becomes most alarming in the form is, again, think through the lens of a fade, how steep this is. When I'm saying steep, and if you've watched my channel for a while, I usually describe this, it's really just where the shaft is pointing at the top of the backswing, relative to the ball. So you can see that is well inside the ball. And then the other thing is the face is pretty darn shut there. We can see that. And if I can see a lot of the face, that means the face is closed. And so from here, most likely, as he goes down, it's going to be kind of strong face draws. And so if we kind of play that out, you can see there's that shallowing. Shallowing is great, but a lot of times that produces a little bit more of a draw. And there's your kiss of death right there. The face is very, very strong right there, and the path is a little bit under. That ball is going to go left. That's a pull draw. And again, this guy's incredibly good. He's got incredibly good hands, but, when you're playing 36, 54-hole events, if you hit, a few shots left, that's the difference in winning and losing. So I do want to point out one other thing at the top of the backswing you're going to notice is different. And again, we're thinking about as it relates to the left and the potential to draw the ball, is there's a lot of daylight between the knees here. Charlie was shifting into his right side a lot and creating a lot of daylight between the knees. Again, that's not right or wrong. It's just something that would cause the shaft to be a little bit steeper or more across the line. Again, across the line means the shaft is that way a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to leave that picture there as we kind of work on this video on the right. Okay, so now I've seen Charlie probably 6 to 8 times. Every time he shows up, we kind of are trying to solve this left miss and make it more and more and more predictable. Now he's playing collegiate golf where the margins are even smaller. So, the first thing you're going to notice is that the face is much more neutral. Now, that yellow line is impact plane. I'm not saying someone should be going up that line on the backswing, but the face is definitely a little bit more neutral, and it's a little bit more down the line. So from there, what's going to happen is that at the top of the backswing, we can see that the shaft, I'm guessing, is pretty close to the golf ball. Yeah, so that's pretty much on. So that hinge plane that's flatter, really, there was never any attention on that. The attention was on two things. One was staying more centered with the head on the backswing, not shifting right, which killed some of this rotation with the legs. You can see there's no daylight between the knees for the most part. And then if someone's not rotating as much to their trail side, they're not going to go as far across. So the shaft is clearly going to be flatter. Now, the other thing that you'll notice is the face is a lot more open. We can still see some of it, which is fine, but it's not near as shut as this position. And the only thing he's really been thinking about in the backswing is spinning the face open. Now, for those of you who have ever been told, like, take your small muscles out of it, take your hands out of it, I would largely disagree with that. The best players in the world have incredibly good hands. And I would argue, okay, well, how else are you going to get the face a little bit weaker if it's shut? Yes, you could change your grip. Do people like making grip changes? No. So I would argue, I ask people to spin the face open frequently on the backswing, and that is totally fine. So you can see there's a pretty big difference in what that backswing looks like. And I want to show you this because, when you're working on your swing or you're trying to see different things, you should be able to see some visual differences between now and 6 months ago. And you can clearly see here there are some differences. And so as we play this out on the downswing, there's not going to be very much shallowing because on the video on the left, if the club is more across, it's going to have to shallow because the shaft has to get back to the ball, right? So if I even go back to that and kind of draw that line, let's draw this. Now watch what happens on the downswing. There you go. That's the shallowing. Do you see how it's kind of getting lower and lower? Let's keep playing that out. It'll do more. See that? Now it's getting even flatter. Now, if we go back to Charlie's video at the top here, let me clean this up. There's that line, we'll say. It's parallel, whatever, that's fine. So, yeah, it's not changing much. It's shallowing a little bit, not near as much as the other one. So, as the shaft is more in line with the golf ball, it's likely not going to move as much. And so, if we play this swing out on the downswing, you can see that club face is coming down a little bit more open, a little bit more on top of the line. And so that's why you see the swing direction be a little bit more left. His feet are a little bit more left. The ball is a little bit more open. But, if you do those things with a shut face, you're basically going to hit a pull draw. So now that the face is weaker, he has freedom to move the ball up because he knows it's not going to go left as much. Because if we move the ball up, that's going to potentially shift the path more left. But it's also going to give the face more time to close. So you could hit some pull draws. So all that to say, whenever you're changing your swing, it should generally start with what type of ball flight I'm trying to hit, looking at contact issues. For the most part, Charlie tends to hit the ball in the center of the face, so it's not necessarily that. It's more this nagging left. So hopefully that makes sense when we look at these down the line views of like, okay, what is actually causing that? And then correlating it. So I hope you found this video helpful. Would love a comment. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And good luck next time you go hit balls. And please, please solve your problems.